The Knicks have one hand firmly on the Larry O'Brien trophy. They are so close. The Spurs have the biggest test of their young careers. They've not lost 3 in a row all year. Can they turn that around? MSG Game 3 in a couple of days. We have a couple of buy-sell holds for NBA stocks, 007 award, mock trades. We've got it all this episode of this pod. But first, welcome back to the Casual Observer podcast. Let's dive straight in. The Knicks won this game 105-104. Gone up 2-0 in the series. Definitely got home court advantage. They've won 13 straight, most of them by double digits. This is a historic run at the moment. Again, the only 2 losses in the playoffs have been by 1 point to CJ McCollum. Who knew CJ McCollum was going to be their biggest nemesis this playoff run so far? You think of the other teams with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, now Wemby, Castle, Fox, Harper. No, CJ McCollum, the big nemesis. So, never saw that coming. And look, there's still time to turn it around. But once you've lost home court advantage, we all know it's hard to get into. Your role players, especially, hard for them to get into the game as much on the when they're away from home. So, big test now for the Spurs. It would kind of be fitting for a lot of reasons for the Knicks to wrap this up with a sweep on their home floor. New York would be pandemonium. Good luck to the people living in New York if that happens. That's going to be Gotham for 10 days or so. My prediction for the series was Knicks in 6, so 4-2, but now they're 2-0 up. I don't know. The only way the Spurs can get to that scoreline even is by winning Game 3 and Game 5. I can't imagine the Knicks are going to give away 4 out of the next 5 the way they've been playing. The stats we've gone over in the past, if an away team wins the first 2 games, so definitely breaks home court, they're going to win the series 92% of the time. So they are, as I said, firmly got one hand on that trophy right now, which is just insane that in our lifetime we're going to see the Knicks be good again. Didn't think that 10 years ago, that's for sure. Let's break this game down. Look, the Spurs came out. We've had the stats in the past of Wemby. If he gets 13 shots in the first half, that sets them up. He got 4. So there's already a bit of a red flag in this one. He was aggressive, but he wasn't, he wasn't forcing things, but he wasn't even, he wasn't getting into the post. He wasn't getting into the paint. It was a bit more passive aggressive, if you will, but not as usual self, I would say, especially after a loss. ABC flashed it up on the screen that in Game 4 and Game 6 after losses against the Thunder, he had big games, and then this one, stats wise, is fine, but the impact just from the eye test, apart from the fourth quarter minus the last 2 minutes, wasn't there. So. That was a big one, though we did see straight away when we attacked more in straight lines. What I mean by that is got the ball, had Cat on him, and just went into his chest very straight and direct. Game 1, I felt there was a lot of slow dribbling, spin moves. The defense had a chance to react and collapse on him, and that's where he got 6 of his turnovers from. So this game, he looked a lot more, all right, game plan, go straight, don't fuck around with the ball. And that worked initially and in the fourth, but again, he disappeared a little bit in the middle of the game. And I did notice as well when he was left alone, a bit more one-on-one, didn't see the help defense, didn't see the defense collapsing on him. He did slow down, started fucking around with the ball again. So his concentration, as great as Wemby is not fully there. Sorry about that. And didn't really understand why he slowed down. We had a one-on-one. That processing speed, which you talked about previously, just still, look, he's 22, got plenty of time. As he sees more and more different defenses thrown at him, he'll get quicker at processing. But it's just it's not quite 100% where it needs to be at the top level of our sport. But we'll break down the end of the game. So Knicks are up 97-83, 6 minutes to go in the fourth. They've made a hell of a run. Their bench unit actually carried them, where they had Mikal Bridges and 4 bench people with, I think it was McBride, Shamet, maybe Alvarado and Robinson. That was a great unit. But they got obviously tired. Into the third quarter, start of the fourth. It's a lot of minutes. Get up by 14. And the Knicks go cold. At one point, they're 8 of 24 in this quarter. And they've let the Spurs all the way back in. So the Spurs are 97 all with 3 minutes to go. So they went 14-0 run in 3 minutes. The offense suddenly looked alive again. And then the final plays down the stretch, it's 102, 101. Knicks have the ball. Ball with Bridges for whatever reason. Brunson's off in the corner. Even RJ on the telecast said why. Why is McHale, operating and Bridges, Brunson's hiding? And I think it was just to try and throw the Spurs off. But Bridges drives in and throws the ball away. Harper gets out in transition. Does the mature thing. Doesn't just force the shot. Stops. Finds Wemby chasing down the lane. And Wemby gets a kind roll for an N1. Makes a free throw. And we head up 102, 104, Spurs in front. Then Brunson's getting harassed by Harper. Full court. This is the next player down. After, nearly getting the 8-second call, Harper goes for one steal too many. Brunson spins past him, forces the switch to Champagnie. Harper's now kind of just catching up in the play. He gets switched on an Anunoby. And, Brunson just cooks Champagnie. Brings him in, steps back, bit of a Dirk fadeaway, hits the long two. We're knotted at 104. Again, that's his shot. That's one of those shots that you're just like, man, every time he gets to the fourth quarter, Brunson's getting that shot, that's going in. That's how confident we are. In Brunson's holy shit, he's going to kill us moments. Talking about crowd killers, he is single-handedly murdering teams at the moment in the fourth quarter. The Cavs may need a lot of mental help after their series. But yes, then we get Wemby down on his end. He's got one-on-one with Robinson. Can't do anything. Again, that processing speed, not quite there. A couple of jabs. Ends up taking a tough fadeaway too. That's, not the shot you want. It's a bit of a force shot. I mean, a minute before he forced up a three. That was an air ball. Bit of a hero play. Again, you want your best players taking these shots, but some of these you can get more than a fadeaway too on Mitch Robinson. Though Mitch Robinson was defending his heart out. Brunson, he comes down, misses a long two over Wemby, and this is the play of the game. Misses the long two. Wemby gets the rebound, tries to outlet it. Castle's not even looking for the ball, hits his back. Brunson gets the ball back. And, Wemby fouls him 40 feet from the basket. So they're in the bonus. Brunson gets 2 free throws. It might be an all-time Chris Paul explosion from Wemby there. Throwing the ball away, then fouling when you could have gone to overtime. Not just rookie mistakes, but that's a big one in the terms of a 1-point game. So Brunson goes to the line, only makes 1 of 2. Spurs call timeout. Fox Wemby 4-5 pick and roll. Sorry, not 4-5, 1-5 pick and roll. Wemby gets a great look after Fox gives him the ball. It's a good pass straight to his shooting pocket, and Wemby rises up over Robinson, elbow jumper, misses, and the Knicks win. So Wemby had a lot of, it's a great shot compared to the air ball 3 and the fadeaway 2, but you take that shot any day of the week, but it's just a make or miss league. Good coach, bad coach, and that's a play between your 2 best players. Maybe not in this series, but your 2 best players, and didn't drop. So they both teams tried to lose this game at times, and in the end, it's the Knicks that walk away having broken this series open. As I said before the series in the preview, it just felt like it's all Knicks. Still a bit scarred from 2020 when the Suns got up 2-0 and then lost 4 straight to the Bucks. So I will never say the series over. But and Wemby's done some things that we've never seen before. So you can't write him off. But and history says Game 3 is actually going to be the Spurs. But I don't know. I think it's just it's a big moment for these guys. Mitch Johnson played a fair few minutes, not excessive, but a fair few minutes, and they couldn't get the win, so that'll break him. Hart only played 16 minutes as well for the Knicks, so not looking like a huge Josh Hart series offensively, but defensively, glue guy, rebounding. He's making a real impact in his minutes. So that's just not the effect that you're getting. It's really only Harper on the Spurs bench that's getting anything. So, it's hard because you're looking at the Spurs offense and it doesn't seem like they've got a clear identity. From my opinion and perspective, I've thought for a while that it's paint touches, it's kick out to threes, and it's limiting your turnovers. Everything we've said against the Thunder. And if they're not hitting their threes, their ball movement seems to slow down, their man movement seems to slow down, and it becomes isolation time, but they don't really have a great one-on-one scorer. So it's a lot of tough shots, it's a lot of hope and pray, and that identity just disappears. So you'd think with three elite guards, with Harper, Castle and Fox, that they'd be able to hit the paint any time. But yeah, just seeing like the Knicks defense is just swallowing them whole at the moment. So, and you can see the Knicks, their defense is entirely geared to stopping the paint. They're happy to live and die by the Spurs three, and the Spurs just aren't making him pay. As I said, 2 threes in the entirety of the second half in game 1. And in this game, just looking it up now because I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but where are we? Game 2, the Spurs hit 11 of 29 threes, 38%. Like, not a bad percentage, but again, a lot of open looks, and you can see a few times they're getting an open look and they're pump faking and driving to the rim, which is just into like 2 or 3 guys. It's almost not fearful, but it's, you can tell that every possession means something to these guys, as it should. But it's just, I guess that fear of failure is just creeping in, that mindset of purpose versus hesitation. There's a bit more hesitation going on. I actually thought there wasn't too many free throws. It was very physical. RJ said it on the broadcast at one point. He said this might be too physical, which I've never heard anyone say. So that's it's actually kind of nice, like as physical as it was, and as physical as it may be overboard, it was still quite the fun to watch, as a viewer. You weren't exactly, especially an impartial viewer, you weren't too mad at just seeing the game go up and down. New York had 21 free throw attempts, the Spurs had 27, so 48 in total. I can live with that as a viewer. 12 a quarter. That's pretty bearable. It's good watching. But this is where the New York Knicks get up. 29 to 22 assists. They get up 19 to 11 fast break points, and not just 19 to 11. There's off makes as well from the Spurs. The Knicks are pushing the pace, and the Spurs just aren't back in transition. They did try and change a little bit at the free throw line. If the Spurs are shooting free throws, Wemby's not even going for the offensive boards. He's back already to set the defense. So that was a good change in the first half, but without the free throws there to help set up their defense, they were just getting killed in transition, even off makes. Offensive boards 10 to 5, New York. It was just all the big categories that you think the Spurs could at least hold their own. Mitch Robinson, Cat, even Brunson. Some of these offensive rebounds just killing him. 2 or 3 shot possessions just killed the Spurs' energy. And you could see that on offense. There was no movement, just one pass and a shot. Just rookie stuff. As I said, minutes-wise for the Spurs, Castle played 27. Everyone else was 35 and above. And Castle had foul trouble. Dylan Harper played 32. Keldon Johnson played 15. And that's about it. Everyone else played 7 or less. So, Mitch Johnson is definitely at that point where he's playing 10, but really he's trusting 6 and being forced to trust 7 with Keldon. So, you can see that some of that depth is just, this is a young team with a few vets. The vets seem past it. Harrison Barnes, Cornette, and the youngins aren't ready with Carter Bryant, even Keldon, Harper, Castle in this series, just not quite up for it. So, it all came down to what Wemby could do. I thought Fox played a good game. He had 8 of 12, 20 points, 5 assists. Was a +2. But again, is he feeling the pressure from Dylan Harper, who played 32 minutes, had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 12 when was a +12 team high? Hard to say. Yet again, Champagne's a barometer. He's a -8. Only 2 of 6 from the field. Didn't really get a shot, but he seems to be, when they win, he's the team high in plus-minus, and when they lose, he's the team worst. So stuff to go off there. The Knicks, Josh Hart played 18 minutes, but everyone else in the starting lineup, 34 or more. Bridges had 20, Brunson had 20, Anunoby had 17, Towns had 21 and 13. 8 of 12 for Towns. He was the MVP of this game, I reckon. He's a +11 team high, along with Alvarado. Brunson's a team worse with Mitch Robinson -10. So, yeah, plus-minus is interesting. What else is interesting is Brunson had 5 steals. I don't think you can allow that. Shamet played 30 minutes off the bench, and 5 of 12 doesn't seem amazing, but just that spacing he provides. The hacker Mitch didn't really work because he went 3 of 6. So a point every possession. I think the Knicks will live with that. They're just playing with more force, more purpose, and again, they have many offensive identities. Just to write some down, they have the ball movement, of course, which they had some of that beautiful basketball, but they also had, the 3-point shot going. Anunoby from the corner, Shamet from the corner, McBride in transition, Brunson in transition. Isolation, you can just put the ball in Brunson's hand. He'll get a great shot. Their post defense, in the post with Cat, even Anunoby, big bodies, even Brunson. They've got post defense. Sorry, I keep saying post. They've got defense to offense, that transition. Their bench unit, there's more trust in their unit. Mike Brown's got 9 guys that he can play with trust versus 7 for Mitch Johnson. But they have so many different ways of scoring, and their defense is on a string that it's a hard team to break down. Even if their threes aren't falling, they've got 6 other options, while the Spurs have 2: get into the paint and threes. So they're limiting their turnovers really well, but it's not leading to amazing shots on the other end. So that's something I think, even if they do win a couple games, I think they'll learn. The old Sam Presti. Let's just eat our breakfast first. So they're not going to rush this, but I think they're learning pretty quickly. Like, you might need another offensive-minded player that offers something else to our offense in this lineup. Whether that means unleashing more Harper or trading for a player that can get their own shot, and we'll go into fake trades later, but let's just say Jaylen Brown, even Kevin Durant, some of these players that can just, can play amazing defense and get their own shots, are players that they might have to think about. You could see, though, that the Spurs did try a few things. As I said, Wemby back to cover and set their defense. They tried full court pressing with Castle, Fox, Harper, just to try and tire Brunson down. But again, they didn't target him as much on defense as they probably could have. I like the idea of trying to wear him down, but that's more for the back end of the series that'll show up, and there may not be a back end of the series. And the Knicks protected the paint, leaving their threes. And again, to only get 29 3-point attempts up as the Spurs, you're getting every shot you want. They're just not happy to shoot them, it appears. And then you get some Keldon Johnson forced threes, and it's not the players you want shooting them, honestly. That's what I'm saying. They're just missing one offensive piece, and it's showing up very clearly now. Wemby started on Cat, which I thought, why? Like, Cat's pulling you away from the rim. But they very quickly went to the whole box and Wemby. Because, you could see that, I saw it a few times. When there was a pick and roll, Wemby would just head straight for the paint, and it would be up to the other players to scramble to cover everyone else. And it did generate some good shots for the Knicks, but at least it was jump shots and not straight line drives at the rim. So they used that whole switch and that box to kind of get Wemby as close to the rim as they could. But again, the Knicks can kill you in so many different ways that they kind of worked their way through that little problem after 6 minutes. I thought it was a bit of a rough game on the Knicks ref-wise. Very interesting. Also, please watch Tony Brothers run. It is the worst, most funny thing you've ever seen. It's hilarious. It's just I can't say some of the stuff I want to say it looks like, but basically a bit of a fat boy trying to run after a donut. But yeah, please just go back and watch some of those highlights of Tony Brothers legging it down the court. It's not quick, it's not classy, and he's calling some bullshit, so he needs to be called out. But yeah, there was a tech foul on Mitch Robinson after Wemby pushed him and then he pushed him back. I thought that should have been a play on. But hey, Mitch Robinson gets the tech. There were some calls that were like miles after the whistle. Again, a bit of a Tony Brothers special. Again, why? Like, Wemby didn't seem that mad about not getting the call, and then suddenly there's after the shot whistle comes, and again the Knicks are like, what the fuck? So Fox gets in Brunson's face, pushes Mikal Bridges, no tech. If I'm the Knicks, I'm like, holy shit, they tried. The NBA tried to get this to a longer series, and we still won. So much confidence for the Knicks. And yeah, the refs even tried to, they didn't, but Jesus, did it look bad for some of these calls. And it just, at the end of the day, the more mentally strong, the better team won. Wemby had a quote before the game saying that, whoever wants this more is going to win. And I think you can see the Spurs want it, they just don't have the polish, and the Knicks want it slightly more and have the polish, and that's all it comes down to in these 1 point games. But our takeaways, we've mentioned most of them, but you can see Mitch Johnson try and get his bench more involved early. Keldon Johnson and Dylan Harper both subbed in 4 minutes into the game. So Keldon only played 8 minutes, which is a season low for him in the first game, and you could see he was trying to establish him, get that confidence back in him. But Harper looked amazing, had an amazing dunk, where the whole bench was just like, holy fuck, look at this guy. But yeah, Keldon didn't offer you much. It was amazing at times against the Thunder, but this game was just no. This is not your series, my brother, at the moment. And I'm sure the Thunder are sitting there just like, holy shit, like we should have won Game 7. We'd be making more of a fist of this series than the Spurs are, but they didn't, and now the Spurs are getting a full-on treatment at the moment. So Mitch Johnson trying to instill confidence in his team and players, not giving up on people, as we mentioned after Game 1, but the results are there. You can see the Knicks definitely much, much more aware of their transition defense and offense. They were very clearly pushing the pace a lot better and a lot more consistently. So the amount of pull-up threes they got in transition was so much more obvious than Game 1. And so Game 1 felt like they were just very methodically trying to beat the Spurs, which is not what got them to this point. And this game was very much back to their old identity, this playoffs at least, of push at every moment. If you need a sub, we'll get you a sub. But yeah, for the most part, it was really good to see that they were just off a make, off a miss, off a steal, just push. So that way Wemby couldn't set up. And that pace is clearly the difference in this series for me. You can see Castle, he's awesome, man. Nearly made all third team NBA, but he plays hard, he's competitive, he never has a possession off, he's always putting pressure on the rim, hassling ball handlers, but he really needs to work on just that polish. I reckon I've seen him miss about 10 layups or dunks in the last series and a half. And you think of this 1 point game, if he hits 2 of those layups he missed, is the result slightly different? Potentially. And so, look, the 3-point shot has always been his biggest knock, and he's working on that. But, and you can see his mindset. He's happy to take the 3 as well, which I think is awesome. But his finishing around the rim, I just think he's missing too many chippies that are leading to transition, 4-point swings, and in a 1 point game, it's hard to not look back at missed layups that led to a breakout 2 and think, oh, that might have been the difference. It's definitely not Castle's fault, but his polish needs to be definitely worked on. Cat might be the finals MVP, as wild as that is to say, after Brunson's first game. Cat's efficiency, his lack of dumb fouls, which again in this game was some of the umpiring bullshit. Got the offensive foul. He got 2 fouls in no time, which is just they actually, usually like, fuck me, Cat, but this is not one of those games. So, that was very interesting to see that he's actually not doing anything stupid. He's taking great shots. He's on the floor for longer. Therefore, he can actually showcase his defense and spread the floor. He dunked on Wemby and wanted all the smoke. He went at him and said, "I ain't scared of you." I think he said some other choice words as well, but that dunk on Wemby was just so aggressive off an inbounds play. I thought there's no way he's going to get the shot up and dunked it straight over when Wemby was trying to chase him down from behind. So, it's an eye of beholder. You've got Brunson that's got all this defensive attention on him because he's getting Castle, Harper, Fox. But then you've got Cat's efficiency and what he's been able to do, which is, space the floor, pull Wemby away, attack Wemby successfully, which they went away from in the second half, which is, if they lost, that's one thing I'd definitely be looking at. But, they ended up winning, but I still think they can get a few more shots for Cat going at Wemby. Even if he gets blocked, he's putting that pressure on him. So, eye of the beholder. I could see this becoming a very close final MVP race if the Knicks get up. The fifth takeaway is that it feels like 1995 Magic Shaq and the 2007 Cavs LeBron. These two teams made it to the finals very young. I think it was Shaq's fourth year, LeBron's fourth year, or maybe fifth. But they got swept in the finals, and it wasn't a knock on them as much as a learning experience, and you can kind of see it right now with the Spurs, Wemby, Castle. It's their third and second years respectively, and being 2-0 down, rookie mistakes. As I said, that turnover at the end of this game is just an all-time Chris Paul meltdown. It just feels very much like those two finals where it's not going to be ultra competitive, but it's going to change these players' careers for the better, where they have that scar early and they just come back bigger, badder. In Wemby's case, more time with the monks, running up hills with a basketball. Some of those stories are hilarious. I understand why Dave Jacoby takes the piss out of him. It's feeling that way at the moment. So our segment, Buy, Sell, Hold, NBA Stocks, is brought to you by Espresso Martinis because I love them. No, I'm kidding. But for real. For each team, we're going to buy more Fox stock. I thought that had been dipping lately. De'Aaron Fox is actually had a really good game. Missed some open shots, but you're going to do it. And he's defending the shit out of Brunson when he's on the court, putting full court pressure on him. He's setting up players pretty well. They're just not making shots. And their turnovers, ever since he's come back into the series, Game 3 against the Thunder, the Spurs turnovers is way down. So he's doing a great job of ball handling. He's not 100%, but he's laying it all out there. There's no way you're going to miss a chance to play in the finals. So respect that. Selling some Keldon Johnson stock. This is just not his series, and that's what you're going to get from a sixth man of the year. Is you prefer a bit more offensive consistency, but he's you can see that confidence, that shot's just disappearing, and it's doing some damage to his stock, I reckon. Holding my stock on Devin Vassell. He doesn't have the numbers to exactly say he's making a huge contribution. But if you watch him, big rebounds in traffic, great defensive possessions, couple blocks, making shots, pull-ups in transition. I think he's definitely a huge impact in this series. He's just kind of going under the radar when you've got four other great players. So he's a stock I'm keeping an eye on, but I'm holding it for now. Would love to buy more, but I think De'Aaron Fox edges them out for the Spurs. For the Knicks, buying more Cat stock. He's the last month has just become all about winning. What he can do, fuck his own stats. He's very much just become about what can I do to help this team win, and 13 straight wins. He's the focal point of the offense one series. He's getting 9 shots in this series. He's doing whatever the team needs. He's not doing dumb shit. Giving more Cat stock. Selling Rick Brunson stock. What the fuck was that? Fox gets in Brunson's face. Jalen Brunson. And then Rick Brunson comes running down the court to defend his son. Calls Fox soft. Don't do that soft shit. Mate, you're an assistant coach. Fuck off. Back to the bench. Don't defend your son. Your son's old enough. He can do it. the rest of the team can do it. We don't need you ugly mug, fucking right up there saying, calling people soft. Just sit quietly on the bench, fuck off. Selling that stock. And then holding on McBride. He's been, it's a bit more of a Landry Shamet series in mine, but that McBride, man, he's on fire right now. He's got a great contract. He's doing all the things that, the Knicks need. He's offering different types of shots. It's good to have all bases covered, and you've got McBride that can handle the ball, play great defense, and he's hitting, moving threes. It just unlocks another part of your offense. So with McBride, we're holding that stock. That's the end of the buy, sell, hold NBA stock segment. We'll be right back with the 00 segment, which is brand new. All right, welcome back. 007 time. This is an award with basically just any shot that you think is going up is going in. Just an absolute sniper. We'll get the job done, no matter the cost. And got a number of names written down. Brunson, Bridges, McBride, Shamet. These guys just are not missing shots right now. But our 007, our first one is going to be Landry Shamet. Every time he gets on the court, this guy was a two-way player at the start of the year. He just was barely holding on to a roster spot. Thought they might get moved just for salary. Ends up playing 30 minutes game 2 of the finals. Every time he shoots the ball, you're just like, that's money. Even if it misses, you're shocked. And I think least of all, he's the most shocked when it misses. So he's our 007. Anytime you need something from him, he's giving it to you. Good defense, taking charges, shooting threes. He's our man. Moving on to mock trades now. I love a mock trade. I don't think we're going to have a podcast on Monday, so it can't be Trade Machine Monday. So we've got ChatGPT to come up with a few trades. Our first one, the Spurs go all in for a co-star. They go for Jaylen Brown. In this trade, the Celtics get Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, 3 firsts and a swap in the future. And that's it. Now, it's probably underselling Jaylen Brown's worth, but he can defend. As in Jaylen Brown, he can defend, he can get his own shot, and he wants his own team in a way. And having Wemby there, I think Brown could be your number 1 option, and I think Wemby can be your number 2, and they can swap day to day or game to game. But they play 2 different ways, and I think that'll work out quite well. Wemby seems to want to shoot more anyway. Brown can do it, so I don't think it's the perfect fit. But I think if you want to win, you've got Fox, Harper, Castle, Brown, Champagny, Carter Bryant, Wemby. Yeah, add Jaylen Brown to the mix. It looks great on paper, at least. The reasons the Celtics do it, they get the cap relief because Jaylen Brown's just starting a long-term extension worth 60 to 70 mil a year for the next 3-4 years. And in this current cap climate, so with all the changes done in the off-season with the NBA memorandum, all the boring shit. Basically, it's not all that fruitful to have 2 max players with Tatum and Brown because it's hard to fill out the roster around them. So this gives you 2 elite role players with Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. And I think both of them will complement the Celtics' way of playing extremely well. Or you can move off Keldon Johnson and go get some more assets. But the 3 first-round picks and a swap is, I think, quite handy. It depends what picks they are. If they're the Spurs picks, probably not that handy. But if you get other teams, say Atlanta, and the Spurs, like a bit of a mix in the future, you can take a bet on it. And all you need is one Wemby injury, and you might have a good pick that year. So gives them cap relief, gives them some good role players around Tatum, playmaking, shooting, rebounding, and cap relief is the big thing. So I can see it from both sides actually working out quite well. I don't think the Spurs would do it, and I don't think it's enough for Jaylen Brown after the year he just had. I think a cheaper option almost is KD, but you might only get 1 year of him, and that might be enough for you. After what he's done to locker rooms, you might be like, I'm pretty good with not having him. We'll just figure out other options. So Jaylen Brown's the first trade. I personally don't think it would ever happen, just because I don't think in that trade there's enough for the Celtics, and that fit with Brown, Wemby, Fox, Harper, Castle. Like, I don't think there's enough shots to go around if you bring Brown into the team. So I think you've got to find a slightly lower, say, shot usage kind of guy to fill that role, but someone that can still create their own offense. And everyone keeps saying Trey Murphy. Look, he'd be perfect, but I don't know. I think the cost for him is about the same for Brown at this point. And, that's just where your negotiating skills come into this. So this is just one for me. Really going to test Heat culture here. Can we get Trae Young? Now, this is before the Giannis trade, say. But can you get Trae Young for basically a first-round pick and Nikola Jovic? I know, that's nothing. But that gives you the assets to still go out and get Giannis. And for Washington, you can take a chance on this falling to shit in the future and getting a great first-round pick. Or just getting off the money for Trae Young. Letting your guards open up, especially if you get Darren Peterson or AJ DeBancer, you get more shots for them. So I actually think it's a fairly fair trade, only because what's he going to do in Washington? He's just going to eat into other players' development. I don't think Anthony Davis wants to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Davis goes to Golden State. But yeah, or back to the Lakers. But yeah, in this trade, you take a chance on Jovic being freed from Spoelstra. You get a future first. You get way cap relief. If it doesn't work cap-wise, there's another version of this where it's just Andrew Wiggins straight up for Trae Young, which I think might work a bit better for their the Wizards' length, size. Wiggins isn't going to change the entire franchise, but he's solid. So, the Heat with, say, a core of Trae Young, Giannis, and Bam, super expensive. Can't afford fuck all around it, but it might just really test the entire Heat culture there. So, how desperate are we for that kind of? How hungry are we for that kind of player? Honestly, as a Heat fan, I'd say no. I'd also say no to the Giannis trade. I would aim a little bit lower and get a few other little pieces and take chances on guys, but I don't think that's what Miami Heat will do. So, the next one, the Thunder, Larry Markkinen. It's time for the Thunder to cash in their picks. We know Danny Ainge, Austin Ainge ask for every spare cent that you've got in these trades, but I think if the Thunder overwhelm Utah with an offer of, say, Case and Wallace, 4 first-round picks and a swap, and the Thunder get Larry Markkinen, does that change a lot for you? I don't think they can actually afford to do this trade, so we might need to add in a few other pieces here. And there's other variations of this trade, but off-season, when the cap's wide open, you can usually kind of do this stuff, and then you can figure out the rest around it. So depends on the aprons and stuff like that as well. I think it was June 31st. We're still in the 2025-26 season, and then July 1st is the 2026-27 season. So that's when all these new numbers start changing over. Caps change. So you want to do it around the draft, I think, if you want to do this trade. But if I'm the Jazz, 4 first rounds and a swap along with Case and Wallace and let's just say Andrew. No, what's his name? The other Wiggins. I've lost it. Oh man, I completely lost it. Anyway, let's just say Isaiah Joe and the other Wiggins. Enough for that. But you get some solid role players. You get some more assets to go out and make a big trade. You've still got Kessler Walker that you can now pay, and you've got Triple J, Keontae George, Case and Wallace. That's a pretty good defensive side. You've got an identity there as well. And for the Thunder, you're taking a shot on Lowry to kind of round out your offense. Not sure how much you trust. I'm not sure how much you're trusting Jay Will to stay healthy at the moment. So I would say that's a pretty all-in move. You still got plenty of assets left, but it gives you a peak player, Larry Markkinen, to supplement SGA. Moves Chet to more of a 4th option on offense. He could just focus on defense. And then J-Dub, if he's healthy, is your 2nd option still. So I love that for the Thunder, if the money works. And honestly, for the Jazz, I think it's a pretty good haul to get back, especially Case and Wallace. Love that guy. I think he's chronically underrated. But yeah, how many more picks do the Jazz really need to actually achieve anything? I think they've got too many picks as it is. So, but yeah, can you imagine an SGA with Lowry, J-Dub, Chet, Like they would be on the second cap or second apron, but that would be pretty crazy. And just some hard hitters, just quick ones. Cam Johnson to the Cavs. Don't know how it works. Haven't really come up with the idea of that one yet. We'll probably hit that one later, but he didn't have a great year in Denver. But he's big. He can hit threes. He's streaky, but he could be your starting three. Again, not really sure what you're going to give up to get him. Maybe it's a Max Strus along with Dennis Schroeder and a pick or something like that. But Denver want to get off Cam Johnson so they can re-sign Peyton Watson. So there might be something that the two teams can figure out there just to help both teams out. But I think Cam Johnson just gives you a bit more length and shooting as a Cavs team that clearly missed that in the game, or in the entire series against the Knicks. Zion Williamson to the Brooklyn Nets. This is not a bad one, actually, because what the fuck does Brooklyn have going for them, apart from the 6th pick? If they can get Acuff, Wagler, Flemings, Mikal Brown, and then pair them with Zion, MPJ, there's something there. So that could be quite fun again in Brooklyn. Will it win anything? Probably not. And then the last one is just Brandon Ingram to Sacramento. Just because Sacramento, what the fuck are they doing? I don't love Brandon Ingram as a player. I think he could have been so much more, but he's been a bit arse since his first year in New Orleans. Let's just say LeBron fucked him up. But I think it would be awful for both sides, but at least the Raptors would get some cap relief and can really build around Scotty Barnes there. And yeah, they've got some awful contracts to the Raptors, and if there's one team that'll take a chance on them, it's the Brooklyn Nets or it's Sacramento Kings. So look, doesn't really fit a timeline. I'm not sure what the timeline is for Sacramento, so they might as well just accrue some talent, keep the fans rolling in. But yeah, not my favorite. But yeah, let us know what you think of these trades. We'll recap them. It's Jaylen Brown to the Spurs, Larry Markkinen to the Thunder, Trae Young to the Heat, Cam Johnson to the Cavs, and Zion to Brooklyn. So yeah, let us know. Love trades. Will any of these happen? Who knows? If they do happen, you'll hear me doing the longest lap around the sun, bragging that I started this and put it into action. So even though that certainly did not happen. So no. But we'll be back after Game 3. That's Tuesday my time, Monday night American time. That's a couple of days from now. We're recording this. Saturday Arvo. Oh no, Sunday Arvo. Oh, losing track of time. I'm losing the plot. Been talking for too long. But yes, we'll be back after that game. If it's a 3-0 series, I think we can pretty much crown the champions. If the Spurs come back, I think the whole city of New York might be depressed. So looking forward to see how the Spurs respond. And if the Knicks can get up 3-0, I would say the odds are ever in their favour. So thanks for listening. Until next time, let's go to the NBA Finals.